T2Delayed, cartridge-based consoles Rebirth, and A1up's new deluxe US price revealed. It's a shocker. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in home arcades, retro gaming, and the like. Hope everybody's having a great week, guys. Episode 193 is upon us. So glad you've decided to stop by and hang out with me on your Sunday night before you got to go back to work. How horrible. How horrible is that? We're not going to think about that right now. We're going to put that out of our minds and think about chilling out, relaxing, and the week that was, and the weekend that I hope was productive for you, at least as productive as it was for me. This whole week has been great as far as just arcade maintenance. If you've been watching the channel, catching up with some of the videos, it has just been arcade maintenance. It's been fixing power supplies. It's been doing upgrades on hard drives, from like spinning mechanical hard drives to solid state hard drives, things that I've just been putting off, finally getting around to doing it. And so it's good. It's good to have a feeling. It's maybe not the most glamorous thing, but it is absolutely great when you can have that peace of mind of knowing that that thing, that time bomb, that ticking time bomb of a hard drive is not going to be an issue for a very long time. Sadly, if you've watched my shorts and my short video, sorry, we're moving on, and my other videos, I wasn't able to upgrade the hard drive on my Star Wars cab, my Star Wars Battle Pod. And that's frustrating because that's the one that it is the most new, but it still has a mechanical hard drive. And that's the one that I really want. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's kind of an expensive cabinet. So I really want to upgrade that thing. It's got Windows BitLocker on it, and that's going to be something that I'm going to need to access and then disable. But to do that, I got to get the code, that 24-digit code. So I don't think I'm going to sit here and guess it and be successful anytime soon. So I've reached out to the reseller of the cabinet to see if they have it. And if they don't have it, I'm just going to have to start digging, because eventually I'm going to have to get that fixed. I'm going to have to get that repaired. It does take about 5 minutes to boot up with that mechanical hard drive. Those small mechanical hard drives, those little 2.5-inch mechanical hard drives, tend to spin really slow. So that's probably part of it. And it is mechanical. So that's something I really want to get figured out sooner rather than later. So anybody out there who knows what to do, please, I'm not too proud to beg. I have no shame. I will absolutely ask for your assistance, because it's something I desperately need. Just like I need a drink. Everybody needs a drink. Everyone, you got to kick back and have a drink. Tonight, we're having a drink like we do every Sunday night. We are drinking the Four Roses tonight. Very special. Well, it's not very special. It's one of the cheaper, I think maybe the second cheapest bottle that they make. And it's really good. It's really good. It's a really good, if you're looking and you're not sure, you want to try something a little bit different than some of the Jeffersons and other things that we drink on the show, Four Roses small batch is a good way to maybe diversify your appreciation of bourbon. It's a great place to get started. Tonight we got that in the glass. Cheers, everybody. We also have this is kind of a new thing that some people have had access to. I have not had it before. We have a super chat goal tonight. So if I get 10 super chats, $2 minimum. If I can get 10 super chats, then we're gonna have what I'm gonna call second pour. So every night I have one drink, we talk about everything, and when I finish, I wrap up the show. If we get that many super chats, we get 10 super chats of $2 or more, I'll do a second pour, and it'll be just Q&A. You can talk about whatever, you can ask me whatever you want. I'm an open book. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll do. So that's a super chat goal. There's another thing in the chat besides the super chats that are always super, but all your chats are super in, just non-monetary ways. It's called a poll. That's right. We have a poll question every week. It is this week is no different. We have a poll question talking about cartridge based. Well, not necessarily cartridge based. I mean, the majority of these are going to be cartridge based, but basically reintroducing, re-releasing, reimagining old consoles from back in the day, retro consoles from back in the day. Now, some of these are older than others, obviously, and I couldn't eliminate the most popular. So let's talk about the question tonight. And here's the question: what classic console do you want to see re-released / released most out of the ones that I've listed below? So here are your 4 choices. You got the NES. Now I'm not talking about a digital console. I'm not talking about the classic. I'm talking about a re-release of the console itself, cartridge based. And of course, when they do this, it's going to play your original cartridges, any kind of homebrew cartridges, and they'll probably, in this one, let's say they're going to upgrade that connector. That evil original connector was just weak. It didn't really last very long. So you're going to get a better connector, okay? But basically, same shape, same size, brand new, officially licensed from Nintendo. Your second option is going to be an N64, a re-release of the N64. I know there's a lot of these consoles out there, but something legit from Nintendo. Your third option is something that wasn't actually released. The prototypes were made, but this was never actually released. And this is the Sega Neptune. And basically, the Sega Neptune is something that was going to play. You were combining basically the Genesis. That's what we called it in the States. I think it's the Mega Drive or whatever over in the UK, and the 32X adapter into one console. So you could play 32X cartridges or regular Genesis cartridges, but they never really brought it to the masses. That's what I would love to see. This is one thing I want to throw out there. This isn't a make-believe console. It technically was prototyped, and it was slated to happen. So should they bring us the Sega Neptune, the ability to play both those cartridges, and of course, homebrew games as well. And then I couldn't leave off the most popular console, home video game console ever, and that is the PS2. Now, the PS2 got a lot of love in that initial release of the PlayStation 3, full backwards compatibility, and they were even talking about re-releasing digitally a lot of PS2 classics, but that didn't really happen. There were just a handful. They weren't HD versions. They were just straight re-releases, and they didn't look the greatest. And unfortunately, PS2s are, while there's a ton of them out there, they are dying. It would be great to have Sony come out with maybe a PS2 Super Slim. So you had the PS2 Fat, the PS2 Slim, maybe a PS2 Super Slim. Find a way to make it even smaller, but make it disc-based so we can play all those, I don't know, millions of games that are out there, because that's the great thing about physical media. The physical media tends to last longer than the players themselves. So all these consoles don't really tend to last that long. So there's your 4 choices: NES, N64, the Sega Neptune, or the PS2. Now, if I left some of these off, don't get mad at me. Some of these we're going to talk about the Atari 2600 tonight. Also, I think the Commodore is also getting an official re-release, legit console. And then there's other weird ones out there. Some are going to be your favorites. Sorry, I left them off the list, but I only have 4 options available to me. So vote. I got 52 votes. Man, oh wow. I got 52 votes, and it's split, probably the most even split I've seen on a poll so far with 50 votes. This is pretty awesome. So jump up there and vote, guys. I want to know what everybody is thinking of. Where's your heart at? Where's your retro gaming heart? That's what I really want to know. So yeah, lots going on, some good stuff, some frustrating stuff, but overall a pretty productive weekend. Also worked on my son's car. We just got that done today. Spark plugs and coils. So that was a great bonding experience. And we had a lot of fun, especially because it was like 100 degrees here. So that was great. Okay, so that's enough on my weekend. I told you about the poll question. I told you about what's in my glass, what I'm drinking. Let me know what you're drinking over there in the chat. And now let's say hi to the first 10 comments, maybe even the best 10 comments of the whole night. We won't know until we read them. Who is taking the number 1 spot? This one was laser fast. This was lightning fast. This was within the same minute that I posted the show. And while this is a returning name that you've seen many times, I was impressed. Milkman Classic coming in the number 1 spot at 11:57. Right on the money. Says happy Fox. Hey Fox, happy Sunday. Sega Genesis, yes please. It's number 1, and so am I. Yes, you are. Congratulations. And A2D2 coming in early with the number 2 spot. There's 2 twos in your name, so the second spot seems to be appropriate. Thank you so much for being here. As always, hi all. Happy Sunday. Coming in at the 3 spot is JR. What's going on, buddy? Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. Okay. Just wanted to drive that point home. Coming in the number 4 spot is Angelo P. He says, good evening, Fox and chat. How was your weekend? Now that you broke your Star Wars Battle Pod, you can drive it up to Chicago and I can add it to my arcade. It's not broken yet. It's just, it's going to be a challenge to future-proof this thing. That's going to be. I love the fact that everybody wants my Battle Pod. Isn't that just great? It makes me, it's a little weird, but I'm going to get through it just fine. Coming to the number 5 spot is Dan Z. What's going on, buddy? How are you doing? 19K Fox, always great to see you. Always great to be seen, Dan. Always great to be seen. Cheers, my friend. And Dan says hi to basically everybody. Very good. Coming in the number 6 spot is the Show Gecko. What's going on, buddy? Hey, hello, folks. Did you get someone to help you with that encrypted HD? No, it's a standard Microsoft deal. It is like an encryption, right? It's going to be something that I'm going to have to try to figure out a workaround. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do it. Now, there have been some interesting comments in the comment section of that video, which didn't get a lot of views. So if everybody could please jump in there and just maybe watch it, thumbs up, let me know. I would really appreciate it. Talking about maybe using a different SATA connector, because usually these PCs have multiple bays for different HD, drives, solid state drives, hard drives, whatever. I don't know if that's possible, because if you watch the video, there's just one access panel on the side for just one hard drive. So it's weird. I know it may be kind of dorky, getting into the weeds this much, but this is something I'm really wanting to preserve. And it's really something that I wanted to, not just this, obviously Battle Pod, right? But the older games, Silver Strike was the whole reason why I did this. And it was a straight up just clone the drive and you're good to go. And it literally extended the life of that console, that cabinet. I don't know, probably at least another decade, maybe even more, depending on how often you play it. Also had Killer Arcade Games, CAG, Chris with that channel, had a comment and said, you know what, he's been having some trouble with his Target Terror cabinet. It has a hard drive, it's failing, and he never thought about just cloning it. So just clone the drive to a solid state drive, slap it in there, and it should be good to go. That's an Atari on the rail shooter. A lot of those had hard drives. And so, those like Area 51, I think also had a hard drive, I believe, maybe not. But there's a lot of games out there that could really use this. And you do this and, the PCBs tend to last for a long time. So the hard drive tends to be the weak point. Thank you so much, Dan, Show Gecko, for being here. And Kevin Clausen coming in clutch in the number 7 spot. What's going on, Walt Disney or Malt Whiskey? Malt Whiskey. There you go. And he's also dropping the love with a membership. Thank you so much for gifting a membership to A2D2. Looks like she got it. Awesome. Good job. Coming in the number 8 spot is, coming in clutch, is Mr. Clutch. Fox, any plans to purchase any of the recently announced home arcade cabinets from Arcade 1up, Iconic, Glen Unico, or Buy Stuff? So Arcade 1up, no plans so far. I haven't ruled out Arcade 1up completely. It's just going to have to be a certain cabinet to fit into my collection, or maybe replace the Ninja Turtles cabinet that I have. I would not rule that out. If they came out with a cool Deluxe TMNT that had the original side art and had a better cabinet shape, I might actually think about swapping it out, because maybe my wife wouldn't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. Iconic, I'm still waiting. I was really excited about the Street Fighter Alpha cab. I just haven't heard anything about it. So I think my plan is to still pick that up if it ever happens. Nothing from Glenn, because that's just not something I really have the room for. And I have my multicades are very specific to different types of things. So, but it's a very cool product for sure. Unico, I can't say because I know too much. But I'm very excited to see what is actually going to come to fruition when it comes to Unico. And nothing from Buy Stuff, although those guys have some of the best mods out there. Killer upgrades for all your Arcade 1up stuff. I've done some 19-inch monitor upgrades from them. They're second to none. They really add a different level of experience, to every arcade one-up for sure. Coming in the number 9 spot is Israel Gaming. What's going on, my Foxians? Okay, sounds good. Good to see you as always, buddy. And rounding out the first 10 is Sir Sega. Yo, Fox. Happy Sunday. Hey, happy Sunday right back to you. We also got CB Fluid in the house. We got Frank D. We got OG1 Kenobi. Good to see you, man. I think we said JJ. Jason is also in the chat, modding like a mofo. Mike Hawkhurst is also here saying hi. Nova Sonic, what's going on, buddy? Always good to see you, JJ. We have Fire Island HD, not standard definition, high definition. It's the only way to be. We have Richard Clemens also in the house. The Be Me. Thumper Squid, what's going on, buddy? J Rod, Doug, Win. Good to see you as always, buddy. And yeah, first off, rip to 2 legends we lost this week: Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan. And Malcolm. Yes, absolutely. That was very sad for Malcolm and his family. That tragic. I mean, all the deaths were tragic, but that was really kind of unexpected. And so that was tough for sure. Hey, 19K Fox in the chat saying, hey, go to the merch store and check it out. I really do appreciate it. Tammy G, Miss G, is also in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Gramps Arcade, MSU Rich, always appreciate you guys being here. Dr. Torque is in the house. What's going on, buddy? We got Mark James. How are you? Good to see you. I am Rappy. Okay. Did you try Clone HD system? Is probably looking for the MAC address on the stock HD. I had not tried Clone HD. I'm not opposed to trying just a different cloning software. You might be onto something. The software that I'm using is pretty old, so you might be onto something. It's something that can really clone every bit of it, even some of that BitLocker information. That would be outstanding. And maybe that's all I need. Maybe it's just going to be the right cloning software to really get the job done. I appreciate the suggestion. I'm actually writing that down. And that's actually a good way to kind of think about it. Maybe just look at different software. Sathian is also here. Calvin Wong, what's going on? Jim, the Pacers fan, what's up? John J. Rambo, how are you? Hey, Fox, I want to thank you again. My wife and my daughter truly enjoy the Super Pocket. Thank you for always supporting the channel. Man, I always appreciate it. Jolly Green, great to see you, brother, as always. Sega Dreamcast. Yeah, I thought about, I was going to give it an honorable mention, but like I said, I only have 4 spots. And the Dreamcast is awesome. The Dreamcast, it's funny, they're still making games. You still got the companies that are making games to support it. And disc-based things or consoles are a little bit easier to kind of, I guess, make happen, which is why I don't understand why there's not a PS2. Andrew Melikai is also here. Thank you so much for being here. I think we got everybody. We got Goofy Foot is also in the house. 100 degrees and $100 a coil for fun. Yes, exactly. It wasn't quite that bad. It's a Nissan Sentra, so the coils weren't that bad. The weather is awful. You walk outside and smack into a wall of heat. It's kind of nasty, isn't it? I don't know where you are, A2, but I'm up here in Cincinnati, and I can't imagine anybody south of me is having a better day. Probably not. Steve Sale, always great to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. John Fritz is also here on the Fritz. We got B. Kirby. What is going on, Fox and fellas? And females also. Everybody's here. Kurt the Daring. The Darling. I was almost said Darling, but there's no L. So you are Kurt the Daring. Good to see you, man, as always. Greetings, programs. Saved by Zero is also in the house. I think we got everybody here. Acknowledged everybody. Everybody, take some time. Sit back. Relax. Grab a drink, vote in the poll question. I really want to know what everybody's thinking. Let's go ahead and slide into the first topic. Not on the official list, but I did a post and I didn't talk about it, and somebody actually wanted the link to this article. So we're going to look at the article briefly, and then all the information for all the articles and stuff, it's already in the information, the description of this video. So when you're done, if you want to check out any of the links to any of the articles, they're there. Let's check it out. Okay, so I want to briefly talk about this because it's kind of funny. 2 companies that I'm interested in. One kind of talks some smack about the other one. Share my screen real quick, and here we go. This is an article about Game, and Game takes a shot at Arcade 1up. That was the tongue-in-cheek thing that I said. I posted on my channel. It said in the title of the article is, I played the pinnacle the pinnacle of gaming. The game Time Crisis Light Gun system shoots for the stars and scores. This guy's blown away. This guy's blown away. So basically, you scroll down and he's talking about the lack of, there's a lot of emulators out there. There's a lot of retro love. Shooters don't always get the love. Here's the point of the article I wanted to talk about. This is one that I clipped and posted on my post on my channel. They mentioned A1up, or the reviewer mentions A1up. A1up has an elegant solution in its Deluxe Time Crisis cabinet, but that costs an eye-watering 700 pounds there, 750 in the States for the privilege. So what if I told you there was another far cheaper and highly effective way to play Light Gun Classics on TV, and it's completely plug and play, so there are no fiddly setup shenanigans. And that's what is really going to be something that I think we're missing. It's true plug and play, limited to no setup at all, and you just enjoy yourself with a high quality reproduction arcade gun like that, with all the accessories. Here's a closer look at the gun, the pedal, and the set top box itself. Looks like it's just going to be a couple USB plugins in the front, and away you go. I have backed this. This is the actual premium kit that I got. Now, the blue guns are going to be for the US release, or the English version of the game, and the Japanese version is going to get the black guns. So kind of wish you had a choice in colors, but this is what the English version looks like. And lots of praise heaped on this technology, making me feel just a ton better. You got some USB Type-Cs on the front there, HDMI in the back, and once again, USB Type-C is going to power the device. So really good information, some hands-on. This was over in London. So if you're curious about it, let me stop sharing that. The Kickstarter is still going on. If you want to make an informed decision, go check out that article. It's in the description of this video after the show. If you want to check it out and see what they have to say. An unbiased opinion is what I'm thinking. And I'm excited because I did back this, and it looks really good. It looks really good. Early versions of the software that came out, I think, a year ago were promising. This promises to be even better. And around $100, while that's not dirt cheap, it's not exactly a huge financial risk, especially when you consider all the other things that are out there that cost well over $100. Okay, let's get into one of the main topics right now, and it is T2Delayed. That's right. Terminator 2D, No Fate. This really good-looking, side-scrolling retro game based on Terminator 2 has been delayed. Now, this is something that I jumped on immediately. We talked about it as soon as it came out. It looks so good. I'm a big fan of the 80s and 90s movies. There's very few that are more recognizable than the Terminator franchise, especially Terminator 2. Some people consider it to be better than the first. I think it's very much a different type of movie. Just like Alien and Aliens, Terminator and Terminator 2 were obviously sequels, but very different movies. One was kind of sci-fi horror and sci-fi in general. And then their sequels tend to be more action movies, which is what James Cameron is really known for. It gets delayed. Now, this thing was coming out in the beginning of September. I was happy. That was going to be my birthday month. And all right, here we go. Well, they pushed it back. This just dropped a few days ago. And the reason why, let's read it together, shall we? Due to the physical manufacture process taking a bit longer than we thought, Terminator 2D No Fate will now be coming out on October 31st. We're sorry for this delay, and thank you for your understanding. Well, you didn't ask me if I understand, but you're going to make that assumption. That's fine. We'll go with that. The additional time before release will also allow our team to help work on some final refinements for the day one patch. Kind of curious what refinements were required for this. And I'm thinking that maybe that could be more the reason for the delay than the manufacturing process. To ensure all fans have the opportunity to experience the best version of T2D at the same time, this delay will apply to both physical and digital versions of the game. So that's kind of cool. If you decided to jump in, I mean, as a physical game collector myself, somebody who got I pre-ordered the physical version, it would really suck if you have to suffer another penalty by going with the physical version. We talked about this with Capcom and their fighting collection. If you got the physical version, the digital owners got theirs months before we did. I think it was 2 months before the actual physical discs started shipping out and getting to people. And that really bites because everybody's pre-ordering on the same time. And if you want to see the preservation, if you stand by the preservation of physical media, that really sucks. But not going to be the case here. They're going to delay both of them, which is good. So you digital guys, gotcha. The response to T2, and I believe this, I really believe that this is probably a bigger part two, is the response to T2D has been incredibly overwhelming in the best way possible. I think that they've just been, I think the excitement over this is just absolutely nuts, right? And the fact that you're going to be able to get this, play it on all modern consoles, but I think they're going to actually make some older versions because that's what Bitmap Bureau does, is they make old versions, or they make this game in such a way that the programming can easily be ported to Dreamcast and Sega Genesis and even the MVS, Neo Geo, AES, all that stuff. So it's interesting. But anyway, so the response has been incredibly overwhelming in the best way. Your passion and excitement for this project has been awesome to see, and we are so grateful for it. We want to thank all the fans for their incredible support and look forward to sharing more details. Now, that's fine. It's a game that was delayed. What's the problem? What's the big deal? I'm concerned. I'm concerned that Bitmap Bureau, who was recently acquired by Reef, which is Reef is the one that really kind of did the T2 game. I'm curious. I wonder if a part of that acquisition has created some issues, problems, delays in actually manufacturing this, and maybe they just weren't quite ready for the response to this game. I think this game is just going to sell like crazy, and I'm happy for it. I want to see more. I want to see more games like this in the style of the era when the movie actually came out. Is kind of a way that I think that they need to proceed if they go with if they try to revive any kind of older IPs. But there's other issues. This is not the first time that something's been delayed or it's kind of been met with radio silence. As some of you may know, I did pre-order Final Vendetta on MVS. Now I have a Neo Geo Big Red. It's a 4-slot, and they take these big cartridges. And I wanted to have this. I wanted to have a new MVS game to add to my lineup. It's very, very rare that you're going to get an opportunity to get a new MVS game. Now, I missed the chance to get Xeno Crisis on the MVS. There are other companies out there that are making MVS games, but Bitmap Bureau seems to make a really good product. So I jumped in on this, and I spent, I think, by the time you factor in the cost of the softbox, and then I had to get the little marquees to go in my 4-slot, I spent about a little less than $500 US for this. Now, back in February, they announced that there was a bit of a delay with this, and they provided a bit of an update. And they said that as part of that big, long update, which included things that they're trying to do to make this special, they're adding another character to the game with different movesets. They're really focusing on the super duper quality of this cartridge. The actual boards themselves are going to have like the silk screen on there. It's going to look really good, and they're refining it and all the typical jargon. Back in February, they said we are now targeting a shipping window of Q2 of 2025, and are working diligently to meet that timeline without sacrificing quality. Thank you for your continued support. Blah blah blah. So Q2 of this year, and still nothing. No new announcements. Announcements for Terminator and its delay, and I get that, but no follow-up on the MVS release of this game, which I understand. You're physically manufacturing something. You're trying to get that right. I get it. I understand that, but that's not the first time that they've made an MVS game. My point is, I'm worried that maybe this could be a little bit too much for them to handle. So you got to look at delays in two different ways. A delay is something where, it could be really good because they want to maintain quality. So you're happy about that. But at the same time, delays can also be maybe they weren't really quite ready to meet the demand. And so they're saying they're waiting because of quality and all this stuff, but they're really just trying to get it out the door, and they just need to buy some more time. We will have to wait and see. I hope that T2 doesn't get delayed anymore. I think it could be pushed off into 2026. I hope that's not the case. Really hope that's not the case, because I don't want to have to wait that long. I don't think anybody really wants to wait that long. And it would speak volumes as far as realistic timetables set by Bitmap Bureau. And maybe they're going to crank up production as soon as possible. Also, I hope that they don't forget about all the other people out there that still have pre-orders for other items that are still patiently waiting for some kind of news. See what happens here. I hit the wrong button. See, when you hit the wrong, it's horrible. Okay, sliding on into the next topic, but real quick, I want to see if anybody's got the sorry not. How dare you? October, best month of the year. Come on, J-Rock. Come on. September's not that bad. I'm cool with T2Delayed. Nintendo Game Boy won't ship until October as well. Yeah, and I'm cool with it as long as I want it to meet my expectation. And so that's the two sides of the coin. Yes, if you have to really nail it and you want to delay it a month, okay, that's no problem. If it just goes out into infinity, it's not a problem. That's not a good thing, but I just don't see, this is such a high profile title. I can't imagine that it's just going on for months and we don't hear anything. I just don't see that happening. I think this is definitely going to be something they're going to make sure that they get figured out. But, I'm worried about the other games that are falling by the wayside. BattlePod is working. Yeah, it's sorry, I kind of did like a clickbaity kind of title. Yeah, I didn't brick it. I just put the old hard drive back in and it's fine. But I am worried about it eventually failing. So yeah, it's okay. So thanks for your concern. I want new Marvel games. Well, there's that one new Marvel game coming out that looks awesome. Looks incredible. The Cosmic of course, now I can't imagine Cosmic something or other. It looks incredible. Looking like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. It is a side-scrolling beat 'em up that looks like sort of like the X-Men Konami game from back in the day. Wait, there's a Game Boy in October? I think he's talking about the Game Boy versions because Bitmap Bureau makes those versions of all the different games. There's a fly. What is going on? Okay, so let's talk about maybe some not rehashes, re-releases, kind of in the vein of kind of the reason why we have the poll question we have, and it's this guy right here. Check it out. I just have to say that even the biggest Pac-Man fan at some point has got to say, damn, guys, really? Really? Another Pac-Man themed item. How much Pac-Man? I mean, I wish I loved Pac-Man. I wish I loved Pac-Man because I would be so satisfied. You just get everything you want. You get everything themed, everything color coordinated, everything. I mean, damn. Come on. But even I, who is just, an average Pac-Man fan, come on. Look at this. Now, this looks pretty good. Now, let's talk about it. You're looking at basically an Atari 2600 that is coming out. They're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Pac-Man, whatever it is. And it's going to be a special console, yellow, of course, all themed out with Pac-Man, but it's not just a yellow color scheme. The little logo on the front or the little image on the front with Pac-Man and all the ghosts lights up when you turn it on. So kind of cool. Obviously, this has like HDMI and all that good stuff, but this is a new console that plays 2600 and 7800 games. The original cartridges from back in the day. And they're also releasing new ones as well. Not cheap, though. Not cheap. This bad boy is coming in at $170, but it does come with a Pac-Man cartridge with 2 games on it. And this is the, what is that, the 50th edition? I can't remember. It's a special edition. I can't remember what it's another anniversary of Pac-Man, But this looks pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to lie. This looks pretty good. The controllers are wireless. And to speak to, a little bit more about those controllers, you're talking about $40 for each controller. They do come with a color matching like dongle that plugs into the front. The box looks pretty good. While I'm not too jazzed maybe about, I think that the yellow looks good, but I'm just more of a traditional kind of guy as far as consoles, recreations, especially when it's like a 1-to-1 recreation. But then again, it's like getting like a PlayStation 2 and you get all the different colors, right? This is kind of the same thing. Or hell, I just bought a 30th anniversary, a PlayStation 30th anniversary PS5. So it's kind of like that same thing, or it's just a different variant of it. So yeah, already have a 2600, but because those joysticks have colored wireless dongles, it's tempting to get a few just to keep straight just to keep straight which is which when swapping controllers. That's another good thing too, right? It's nice to have that player one, player two, having that color match is kind of cool. It just, it's a little bit of collectability, right? Yeah, I wish this was 99 bucks. Yeah. This should sell for 99 bucks. I'm good. You're getting all the branding, you're getting all that stuff. 170 is kind of pricey. But you get a controller, you get the games. And if you have a collection of 2600 games, 7800s, a bunch of cartridges laying around, which we know we talked about this, the PCBs in those cartridges tend to last for a really, really long time. So if you've got a bunch of those laying around, this could be a really cool way to kind of play, especially like I said, if you're a Pac-Man fan, if this yellow is really kind of what you're going for, this is a dope way to do it. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I'm not personally interested in paying that much for this. If this was a $99 whatever, I could dig it. I really could. But Atari's been kind of coming out with a lot of consoles, a lot of set-top boxes, and I haven't been interested in those at all. But this, on the other hand, is interesting. But I just don't like Pac-Man that much. These are interesting. I do like the other colors based on the ghosts, from the game. So you have yellow, obviously, for Pac-Man, and then the different colors for the different ghosts in the game. So if you're gonna celebrate Pac-Man, this is not a bad way to do it. I am tempted to get one of these controllers, maybe get the yellow one and just, it's the Pac-Man edition. It's yellow. Maybe just have that, kind of keep it, put it on the shelf, But as far as what if I would want something like this, to consider something like this, I would really just go with what they already offer now, which is kind of a exact replica of the game itself, right? Of the original console. This is kind of what I would want to recreate that experience. Now, I'm not the biggest Atari 2600 or 7800 fan. My cousin had one when we were growing up, but we never had one, so I didn't get a chance to play it that much. I remember playing Battle a ton with little tanks, and then I later went on in the army to be a tanker. So it's kind of weird. Funny how that all works out. Yeah, I could also see those dongles working on original hardware. That's true. I think it will, because all the circuitry is in the dongle itself, right? And then the controller. So original hardware should take it no problem. Yes, combat. That's right. It was combat. That was a lot of fun. But I don't have a ton of nostalgia for it. But for me, if I was going to have one, this is the version that I would want. Got to have the wood grain and the black, just that look that is more in line with what the original console was. And this is what I would love to see more companies do. Now, Commodore is coming out with something that's like an exact replica. That looks really good. I had, once again, limited experience with Commodore 64, but I'm more concerned about the service you're providing to the real fans. And you're also addressing kind of a problem, I guess. Every time you come out with a new compilation disc or downloadable title that has all these games out there, you're sort of negating all the people that still have those physical cartridges and discs that still work. They still function. And every time I see one of these collections, in one way it's nice, and in the other way it's like, damn, but I've got that original version sitting over there. I would love to just be able to play that version. It's nice to have an HD remake and a compilation. All that's cool, but I still have the cartridges. I still have the disc right here. I would want to just play that. And that's the scratch, and that's the itch that this scratches. Re-releasing, physical consoles. These companies are trying to, I don't think that the console wars ever really die. I think that they have temporary ceasefires. I think you have some that kind of fail because they just go overboard. Sega is one where, that's probably the biggest example of just going all in. Atari with their Jaguar, sort of the same thing. Going all in and just, to swing and a miss, right? But you've got a library out there. You've got fans out there. And there's no licensing issues to have. This is another thing you got to think about. If they come out with, let's take a look at it. The Nintendo Classic. Very, very cool. I played it for a long time, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to wrap this up, put it back in the box, and I love it. It's great. 30 included games, right? Was your favorite game included on this? Was the game that you have over there on your shelf included in this? No? Well, what about this? Here you go. What about the little Sega Mini? This had 50 games, right? I think 50 games included. Is that what it was? The print is so small, and my eyes, they are so old. I can't read. But there was a lot of games. I think there was 50 games. Anyway, a lot of games included on this, right? Sega Genesis, a classic. Was your favorite included on this? Was it? All of them? I've got a couple cartridges over there, Genesis cartridges, that weren't included on this. Oh, what about the add-on that really did nothing? It's just that doesn't, yeah, that's not. Just, my point is that while these are cool and they definitely they are awesome to have, little set up preloaded with games, you plug them in, all that's fun. They're never going to please everybody, and because they just can't get the licenses for all these games from back in the day. But one way you could absolutely subvert all that is to just remake your console. You have the rights to your console, just remake it. And then you can re-release games. You can re-release compilation cartridges, of maybe some of your first-party titles or discs that can be played on your system. And we can also go over here and we can grab the cartridge and the disc we want, and we can play it. You don't have to worry about licenses because that license was already paid back in the day. And as long as you are a fan of that and kept it, you can play it. And then it doesn't stop there. We already talked about, companies now that are making new games for old systems. This is a new Dreamcast game. This is a hack. This is Streets of Rage with Predator in it. I mean, it's just, you could have stuff like this, and it's a legit cartridge. It's a legit cartridge that plays in a legit Genesis. I have one sitting over there. Plays great. It also plays in some of those hacked up versions, those consoles out there that they emulate and they do okay, but they're not official. They're not real releases. And I mean, I think that especially when it comes to cartridge-based systems, and you can make something like this, If you can make it and that's the price, who wouldn't go out and buy another? Well, let's look at the ones up there. A legit NES. How about a N64? How about a Sega Neptune? A PS2? At PS2s, remember, they were backwards compatible with PS1. So all your discs, you get to play those again. Because right now, unfortunately, the PS5 doesn't support any of those other discs. Like PS3, forget about it. And maybe a reproduction PS3 would be too expensive. And maybe it's a little too new also. It's HD. But PS2 was the best-selling console of all time. That means there's a lot of them out there, sure, but they're failing. The drives specifically. See, with the PS3, if you get it and the Blu-ray drive is broken, well, that's a bummer because you can't play your physical disc. But if you've got downloadable titles, if you've got a library, you can download those. You can still do that now. I've just done it recently. I just did it yesterday. I bought a second PS3, put a hard drive in it, and went online and just downloaded all my titles that I had ever since 2009. But it's harder, but there's no other option for the PS2s. I mean, there are some hard drives out there if you got the PS2 Fat and all that, but there's money to be made. And I think Nintendo specifically, while you made some money on your classic edition, just come out with a new console that plays those old cartridges and then open up people to come and license you again so they can make cartridges for you, officially licensed by Nintendo, or they can just keep doing their homebrew stuff on the side. But you can't tell me that they wouldn't make money. Nintendo wouldn't make money if they did this. Sony is always looking for something new to sell. I mean, come up. You still hold the title of the best-selling console of all time in the PS2. And if you re-release the PS2, wouldn't that also add to those sales numbers? So if you wanted to cement your status as the best-selling console of all time, how about do a re-release of the console? And you never know what's going to happen. Maybe you come out with just a stock-looking thing and you're done. Maybe it gets so successful, people want different colors, different options, different this, different that. And before you know it, Sony is serving, I mean, listen, how many of us have bought a $500 arcade A1up? Everybody in this chat has. $500. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a $100 PS2, maybe a $150 PS2. I would buy one, at least one, to get a brand new drive that's going to work. Then I'm not going to have to worry about a laser failing every once in a while, which happens a lot on the PS2s, PS2 Slims specifically, depending on the model. I've got several of them around here, and only 2 of them work. So I think there's money to be made. And there's other companies out there that are doing it. I mean, I don't know if you heard about Chromatic. They've got a $200. Now, this is not analog. Analog is super expensive. It's FPGA. It's not the FPGA? FGA. I don't know. I think I'm missing an acronym. I think that might be the golf acronym. Again, that's the PGA. Yeah, this is the FPGA. This is just a device that will just play your Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. You know, it's $200, not cheap, but there's companies out there that are doing that right now. And the same company, Mod Retro, is also coming out with a $200 Nintendo 64 that will play your N64 games. And it's funny because Analog is dragging their feet on theirs. That thing is super expensive, and it's going to be top tier, state of the art, badass, just the best possible, you know, machined out of a solid chunk of aluminum. I get it. But then there's also room for other companies like this that we just really want a good solution that's not going to require some emulation. FPGA. Okay, I said it right? Okay, I did. I just want to make sure. Every time I do that, I think I'm talking about golf. Okay, FPGA. So make sure. Got some other people in the chat that are fellow lovers of the non-emulation route, which emulation is fine. I have several Ambernick handhelds. They're emulating all that. I get it. That's fine. But you know, I just want to take my cartridge and just put it in a console and have it work. And like them or love them, hate the price, whatever, that's what Atari's doing. Atari is leaning on their history. They are celebrating their legacy. And they are serving diehard fans. But because this is such an older console, there are more, it just begs the question. I mean, it's actually just reasonable to assume there are going to be more fans of the NES, the N64, because those people are younger and those consoles sold more. There is money to be made. Nintendo. I mean, you basically print money anyway. How about you print some more money and release an N64 or an NES? And do what they're doing right here. Come out with a cartridge, bundle the think about the games they could put on a cartridge. They could put 100 games on a cartridge. They won't do that, but they could have like a Super Mario compilation cartridge. So it's got 1, 2, and 3 on it or whatever, you know? I mean, think about it. That would be awesome. Would you buy it? Of course you would. I would too. Unless it's ridiculous amounts of money, I would absolutely buy it because the NES was my first real console that our family had. Loved it. And there's nothing wrong with nostalgia when it's respected. It's not a cash grab if you are honoring the legacy and rebuilding and making something from the ground up. You know, a one-for-one recreation of that thing that brought you all this success, celebrating that and giving the fans exactly what they want. You can't make something new that sells. Well, this is not Nintendo's problem. Make something old that sells. Make something that old that sold a lot, because it did. It sold a lot, a ton. Like 199's worth. Oh, wait, no, that's just the super chat that I got from Dr. Torque. Thank you so much for your 199 super chat, brother. Really do appreciate it. Astro City Mini to 26-inch FU. That's my jam. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But even though that's great, it's a great comment. You know where you're going. To the pit.
Finish him. Molina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Lacey, I think we're all kind of in the same boat. Like, I don't mind. Listen, I'll buy a cheap little handheld and be able to kind of play a game on the go. You know, it's emulation. It's okay. It's fine. It has its place. But man, to really be able to play something as it was intended, you know, that's kind of what A1up was trying to do. You know, failed in some areas, succeeded in some, I think. I'd give them that much credit. I'm just starting building my NES collection back. And isn't it phenomenal that those cartridges are still out there and they still work? And it's going to be, there's the ebb and flow. The demands for the cartridges could go up if they come out with more ways to play it. Legit, honest. You don't have to go to analog and pay absorbent amounts of money for a really good product, but it's not licensed by, it's not official. It doesn't look exactly the same. You know, there is something missing. There's something missing. And Nintendo could do it, Sega could do it, Sony could do it, fill in the blank. There's a lot of companies out there that could absolutely do it. They have a rich history. You don't have to pillage it. You can celebrate it. You can elevate it. Make it a legacy product. Give it real attention. If you do that, no one's going to call it, well, there might be some people that call it a cash grab because those people are out there and they're never going to be satisfied. But then there's a lot of people that are just going to be grateful that you did it because we can really play all these games that we have on a good system that we know is not going to fail because we just bought it. And that's usually what happens. But when you're going second, third party, whatever, some kind of knockoff, you never really know what you're going to get. But if you do go something first party, if you do have these companies go back and make something as a true homage to what came before, I think that it's a win-win. I think that that's a win-win, in my personal opinion. And I think that that's maybe what we're seeing with these other companies coming back with bigger arcade machines, full-size arcade machines, kind of trying to do the same thing. Maybe it can't be a one-to-one recreation because just physically it just doesn't make any sense and nobody could afford that, or most people couldn't afford that, or they couldn't fit that in their homes. But getting close, trying to recapture what that feels like is exactly what retro was all about. It started off as emulation because that's all we had. We're beyond that. We're past that. We're moving on. And companies like Atari seem to get that. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why other companies can't do the same. It's just wild, guys. It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Someone needs to shotgun second Nintendo. Shogun. Sorry, not shotgun. Shogun. Sorry, I can't read. Bigger's better if you have the room. Why exactly? And not everybody has to buy everything. Like your favorite cab, whatever it is, fill in the blank. You would love that. You would probably say, listen, I wouldn't buy all these other things. But if they came out with this one, they'd have all my money right then and there. That's it. I guarantee you that's what would happen. You'd be all over it. Now extrapolate that, stretch that out, and find all the people out there that have all the cab. If you can offer a variety, you're going to have limited sales, but you're going to find a niche. Problem with arcade machines is this is just too expensive. It's very expensive, and it's just there's a lot of constraints there. Scale that back to a console that millions of people had in their homes, or hundreds of thousands, depending on what console we're talking about. You have a built-in fan base, and everybody has room for these things because they're selling less and less things for us to buy. Physical media is kind of dying. Streaming is everything. And smart TVs basically have everything built into your TV, so you don't even really have to buy another box. Back in the day, we'd buy Rokus and Apple TVs and all that. You don't necessarily need that anymore. Hell, you can, with your iPad or phone, you can just stream to your TV. You can just cast to your TV. So there's no other box to really buy. So come on. I'm a fool. I need to buy a box. I need to buy a thing to plug into my TV. Why I got all these HDMI imports on my inputs on my TV and I ain't got nothing to plug it in. It's just there. It's bare. It's just barren. It needs to be addressed. It's got to be taken care of. It's got to be done right. It's got to be done right. It's got to be shown the proper reverence. Just like I'm about to show the reverence to this $10 super chat from B Kirby. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat, brother. Sorry I couldn't make it by your brother. 2 promotions in 2 months. I've been meaning to call you. I've been working 12 hours plus days and weekends. Keep doing good stream, bro. No apologies necessary. You didn't even have to super chat, brother. We're all working. We all got things going on, and I understood completely. No big deal. I just appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here and always supporting the channel. Thank you so much for your super chat, brother, and here you go.
Expo.
Wolverine win! Rookie.
Roku is good. I agree. Roku is good. If Atari does an Intellivision release and carts, I might be in on that. I think a lot of people would. And the thing about a console is, while it's not, I'm not going to say it's cheap, compared to like an arcade machine or some big device, the risk is a little bit lower. And then you factor in companies like Atari and Nintendo that are very, very established. They're still around. and they have a big fan base, well, then that, like I said, it's getting the reasons to do it are beginning to outweigh the reasons not to do it. Because, I mean, listen, it's not something weird and odd and so out there that who the hell would buy it, right? Well, who would buy an NES? A new NES? I think a lot of people would buy a new NES. I just think that it would happen. But that's just my 2 cents. B Kirby coming in hot, gifting 5 memberships. Man, I really appreciate it. You're doing way too much. It's not necessary, but I'll take the gift, and I do appreciate it. Absolutely appreciate it. My DIY Top Skater build is funny. Projector TV on a riser with an old person walker as the rails to hold on to, and an old USB Xbox skateboard that worked on trucks and buttons before the wireless sensor. Listen, what that did you just tell me? You are ingenuitive? No, ingenious. You're a smart guy. You're doing the best with what you got, and you're looking for a solution to a problem. And it would be nice if somebody could just make something, but not everybody can just make something. That's where people like you come in. You gotta come up with something on the fly, and that gobbled together, pile of parts is exactly what you needed to get the job done. So salute to you, sir. Job well done. Job well done. Okay, let's talk about the big breaking news. All speculation is now put to bed. It's all put to the side because we finally have confirmation, legit confirmation. I was scrolling through today, looking at trying to find Arcade 1up to see if the T2 had made it to the U.S. because until it actually makes it to the U.S., we don't know what the price is really going to be. Well, we can't say the same about the Mossy Oak Big Buck Hunter. Boom, it's here. That's right. And the price is $5.99. Kind of what we thought, kind of what we sort of imagined. This is a close-up of the cab itself. This is an American. This is the U.S. This is the Walmart listing. $5.99 is the price. You can see that everything is basically what we assumed. It was going to be no new games. I was really hoping that if it was going to be the same price, that we would finally get a lit marquee direct from Arcade 1up. Something, anything, and basically you're looking at it, it's nothing. There's nothing new under the sun whatsoever, especially when you compare it to the other Big Buck Hunter that is currently listed on Walmart.com, just a couple items away. It's exactly the same thing, guys. It's just exactly the same thing. So it's going to come down to a color swap, a color match. Like, what do you want? Like, do you want this version or do you want this version? And I got to tell you, I kind of, I plan on getting this, obviously, but I kind of dig the Mossy Oak a lot, actually. I think it looks really good. I think it looks excellent. Now there was a detail that I think we all missed. Something we got to talk about. And it's illustrated right here. Look at this, guys. The guns are in a different position with the first cabinet and the second cabinet. And look, they changed the order of the games. This is ingenious. You see the 4 games on the left. Yes, they are exactly the same 4 games on the right, but they changed the order of the games listed slightly. See, they got us. So we're getting a new cab. Well, no, basically not. The guns can be put. I mean, if you don't have one of these, you don't know, but it's just an empty pocket and you can just put the games in or the guns in whichever direction. Straight up, sticking out. Doesn't really matter. What are the themes? The theme is Mossy Oak is a brand. It's like a camouflage brand. It's big in the hunting world, so it's just a brand tie-in. It's just a different version of the exact same one. So you got this and you got that. And it just depends on which one you want. He who smelt it dealt it. Keep the collabs coming just for Min X Bubbles in 2026. Any other collab would be great. I think this is just for me, just kind of like a reskin. There's no price reduction. It's not even $50 cheaper. It's just more of the same. You got a Mossy Oak cornhole game. And I will say, I like the way this looks better than this. To me, this is more Buck Hunter than that. I like the tan T-molding. I think this looks great. I just wish that it was, I don't know, a different color. I mean, no, I'm sorry, not a different color. I wish it had a different game. I wish there was at least one different game, some kind of mini game, something. I wish that there was maybe a lit marquee. Yeah, I know. At this point, David, why? Why have we remade this cabinet this many times? You got a pedestal, or not a pedestal, but you got a riser version. You got the peasant version. You got the deluxe version. Now this is the second deluxe version, and there has been zero improvements of this cabinet at all. Like there's been no upgrade. This is just a different skin, and that's all this is. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. So I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get it. At this point, you should do something different, something new. I want to add a Reloaded eventually. If you know anything about the old arcades, the Buck Hunters and Golden Tees don't hold value. I know the Golden Tee sure as hell do. Try to get a Golden Tee. They definitely hold their value. They're one of the highest ones, actually. Now the Buck Hunters, I don't know about that. You might be right on that. You might be 100% right on that. But I know the Golden Tees specifically hold their value. Silver Strikes now for just a pedestal where they cut the whole cab down. You're still gonna have to pay $800 to $900 just for that pedestal. Full blown cabs. I don't know. I think it's kind of because that cabinet is so deep with the CRT. Because that cabinet is so deep, I think it's actually less valuable than the pedestals. That's why everybody seems to cut those down. But they're still up there. You know, they're still pushing 1,000. You know, depends on which version you get. Newer versions, obviously, yeah, they command more money. But yeah, try to find a Golden Tee within the last few years. You'll see they're pretty expensive. But the big Buck Hunters, you might be right on that. I haven't really shopped around for them. Who knows? I don't know. See, the angle of this is a little bit different. I don't believe this is slimmer. I think it's the same cab shape, same cab size. Let me see. Let me check this out. Of course, A1up doesn't have any of their new cabinets listed at all. So there's no way to, let me see. And you might be right. I know that the T2 is a little bit, about 2 inches. Okay, here we go. Dimensions. 18.7, 21. Let me go to the other one real quick. Oh, yeah. Yeah, looks like it is thinner. Okay, so it's the same exact price for less material. Great. Yeah, you're right. So you're looking at, let me share my screen real quick. Sorry, I'm doing all this and you can't see. You're like, what the hell? Fox, what are you looking at? I will show you. I will show you. We're doing this live. Okay, check it out. So here's the dimensions here. 21 by 18.7. 18.7 wide by 68.3. Okay, so, and then you got 18.7. Well, no, that's about this. I think these numbers might be reversed because there's no way it's wider. So let's go back. Camera 1, camera 2. I think they're the same. So 21, 18.7, and 68.3. And then you got 21, 18.7, and 68.9. 68.9? What was this again? Yeah, 68.3. So slightly taller? I don't know. These numbers, I don't know. I think this is I think it's probably the same size, guys. I think it's the same cab. I don't see them changing much of anything. But according to this, they got the same overall dimensions. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's slimmer because they've done that with the other ones. But and that's all I have to go on because yeah, who knows? RK1 doesn't have any official information on their new cabs, their new deluxes. I don't get it. Makes no sense. Yeah, they make a really good one. It's not cheap, but it's worth the money. I mean, it's considering there's no other option out there. And he does Retro 530 does great work. I like to see them re-release the Defender Partycade as an actual cabinet would be great. But yeah, even if it was just a Partycade, that'd be fine. The Star Wars cab is just a no-brainer. You do that as a deluxe, I think it would still sell a butt ton. I mean, the second version, the first version, it was nice. It was good, but it didn't have a coin door. And I like it better when the artwork was extended all the way into the riser. So make it deluxe, but make it in that second version is what I want. That's what I would like to see. That's what I like to see. Did it not get the slim? I don't think it did. I mean, I'm not. I don't think it did. It could be slimmer, but I don't think that it is. I really don't think that this image is kind of turned a little bit more. You know, that's a little more straight on. And what Walmart's saying, they're basically the same. So we'll see. We'll see. Neither hold the Buck Hunters don't. Yeah, that's not good. But I'm not a big Buck Hunter fan anyway. So they're common games, usually destroyed after years. Well, that's true. Yeah, if they're wrecked, that's one thing. But the ones that I buy, the 2 pedestals that I bought, have been in really good shape. But they were probably, they probably had somebody recondition them for sure. All these Buck Hunters, but no area. Thank you. Man after my own heart, or woman. I'm not sure, but I can assume. Exactly. Why did we not get when Buck Hunter came out? All right, that was pretty cool. Sending light guns, it was pretty accurate. Everybody was kind of happy, excited. When T2 came out, like, all right, now it's on, and we had to wait forever for another light gun game. And then when Time Crisis comes out, it's $750. That's just nuts. That's absolutely insane. And it's a damn shame because there are so many. Yeah, no 19-inch monitor. Nope. 17. It's the same damn cab. Masioka is wider and a half-inch taller. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think those numbers were just reversed. I don't think it's wider. They would never make it wider. They've made them thinner, but they've never made them wider. I don't think that it is. I think those numbers, I think that's just reversed. It does, the numbers say it's a little taller. So we'll see. We will absolutely see. But yeah, it's just a damn shame that we missed out on all these great titles. And that just goes to show where licensing is definitely the key. Licensing is the thing that'll get you every single time. And when we talk about making new old consoles, licensing isn't a problem. You're just making the console. The games will come, and they could re-partner with some of these other companies and remake the old games on a cartridge. They can still do that. Nintendo is prime for that because they have all the original. I mean, they have all the IP that's valuable for Nintendo. So they could re-release Mario cartridges, Zelda cartridges, HDMI output on these things, make the same console with the same cartridge, but have an HDMI out, so it just, for a new TV makes sense. I don't mind that kind of deviation. It's fine. Kurt kind of hits a nail on the head, right? Taller, wider, who cares? Still 17-inch monitor regardless. And it is, it's sad. But what can you say? What can I say? A1up had it all, and they wasted it, and they blew it. And I think it's a cautionary tale. This is not something that anybody can get into. And if you get into it, companies, and if a company gets into this, it's a hell of a thing to try to maintain. Or would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Okay, it is time, unfortunately, to wrap it up. We had a couple super chats. I appreciate those. Didn't hit our 10 super chat goal. So unfortunately, there's no second pour tonight. But before we go, we've got to talk about the poll question. I think it was a good one. Let's see. I don't think there's a clear cut. Oh, okay. You need to vote right now. You need to vote right now. There is not a clear winner. I need to get some votes in the poll. It's in the live chat right now. Let me know. What classic console do you want to see either re-released or just released in the case of the Sega Neptune? The most out of the list. So there's 4. Which one do you want to see the most out of those 4? NES, N64, the Sega Neptune that played Genesis and 32X cartridges, or PS2? Let me know. I think we're going to squeak out a winner. All right, 116 votes. Pretty good. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. And 5, 4, 3... And we're going to end it right now. That's in the poll. Good job, everybody. I appreciate it. Okay, so coming in last place, this is a shocker. Actually, it's not a shocker when I tell you the percentages. So last place is the Sega Neptune with 22% of the vote. Coming in third place is the NES with 22% of the vote. I guess there was just a little bit. I guess there's a point that we're just not seeing, a 0.1 or 0.2, whatever. So Sega Neptune is 4. NES is 3. So who takes the top spot? Is it the PS2? Is it the N64? Drum roll, please. It is the N64 with 28%. The spread is crazy. N64 was 28%. PS2 was 26%. The NES was 22%, and the Sega Neptune was 22%. It was locked up. It was just a few votes determined the winner. It's crazy, but I'm glad yeah. So there you go, everybody. Nintendo, Sony, Sega. Come on, there's an audience for none of you. Neither one of these got 0. So I think you could release any of these, and they would sell at least 22% of my audience. Everybody, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. Everybody, you have a good, solid, blessed week. Nobody get hurt. Nobody do nothing crazy. Deal with the heat, and I'll see all of you right back here next time. Peace.